You ate eggs this morning, and the way you cooked them, the time you ate them, and what you paired them with just canceled every fat-burning benefit they had. You turned one of the most powerful belly fat killers on earth into a useless meal. And you'll do it again tomorrow unless someone stops you right now. Right now, your body is sitting on a metabolic switch. Eggs contain 6 specific compounds that activate thermogenesis, crush insulin spikes, and force your body to burn visceral fat for energy. But here's what nobody tells you. These compounds are fragile. Cook them wrong. Destroyed. Eat them at the wrong hour. Wasted. Combine them with the wrong food. Completely reversed. You're holding the weapon. You just keep firing blanks. Here's what makes me furious. Every nutritionist says eat eggs. Every fitness page says eat eggs, but not a single one tells you the rules. Because a $250 billion diet industry needs you confused. Needs you buying fat burners and meal plans and protein powders. A patient who melts belly fat with 2 eggs a day following 6 simple rules doesn't need any of that. That's bad for business. The clinical research is already out there. Published. Peer-reviewed. Specific preparation methods increase fat oxidation by up to 3x compared to standard cooking. Specific timing windows amplify metabolic response dramatically. But this information stays buried in journals nobody reads. You've been eating eggs your whole life, scrambled, fried, boiled, and your belly fat never moved. Not because eggs don't work, because you broke every rule that makes them work. Consistency without strategy is just repetition. In this video, we will reveal 6 egg rules that multiply fat-burning power, ranked from least to most impactful. Number 1 is so counterintuitive most people will resist it. But the data doesn't lie. References are in the description. How old are you and where are you watching from? Drop it below. I read every comment. I reply personally. Now let's start with number 6. This rule takes 10 seconds to follow, but changes how your body metabolizes fat for the entire day. Number 6. Never remove the yolk. This is the rule that most fitness advice has been getting wrong for decades, and it is finally time to set the record straight. For years, trainers and diet gurus told you to throw away the yolk and just eat the whites. They said the yolk was full of cholesterol and fat, and it would make you gain weight. But modern science has completely flipped this on its head. A 2022 study published in the journal Heart found that eating up to 3 whole eggs per day had 0 negative impact on heart health in healthy adults. 0. But that is not even the important part for belly fat. The yolk is where almost all of the fat-burning nutrients actually live. We are talking about choline, a nutrient that your liver desperately needs to process and break down fat. Without enough choline, your liver starts storing fat instead of burning it. A study from the FASEB Journal found that people with low choline intake had significantly higher levels of visceral belly fat compared to those who consumed adequate amounts. And guess what one of the richest sources of choline on the planet is? Egg yolks. A single egg yolk contains about 147 milligrams of choline, which is roughly 27% of your daily recommended intake. On top of that, the yolk contains vitamin D, and research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people with higher vitamin D levels had 20% less abdominal fat than those who were deficient. The yolk also contains conjugated linoleic acid, a fatty acid that has been shown in multiple studies to reduce body fat composition. One study from the Journal of Nutrition found that CLA supplementation led to a 9% reduction in body fat over 12 months. Now, here is how to get the maximum benefit from the yolk. You want to keep it slightly runny, not fully hard cooked. When you overcook the yolk until it turns that chalky greenish-gray color, you are actually oxidizing the cholesterol and destroying some of the heat-sensitive nutrients like vitamin B6 and folate. A soft boil or an over-easy preparation keeps the yolk warm enough to be safe, but cool enough to preserve those fat-burning compounds. Think of it this way. The yolk is the control center of the egg. It is where nature packed all the instructions for building life. When you throw it away, you are literally tossing out the most nutritious part and keeping the least powerful part. So, from now on, eat the whole egg. Your belly fat does not stand a chance when your liver has the choline it needs to do its job properly. Now, let us move to the next rule, and this one is about timing. Number 5. Eat eggs in the morning, not at night. When you eat your eggs matters almost as much as how you eat them, and most people completely ignore this. Your body does not process food the same way at 7 in the morning versus 9 at night. Your metabolism, your hormone levels, and your insulin sensitivity all change throughout the day. A 2020 study published in the journal Cell Metabolism found that eating a high-protein breakfast reduced hunger hormones by 25% throughout the entire day compared to eating that same meal at dinner. That means fewer cravings, less snacking, and less belly fat storage over time. When you eat eggs in the morning, you are taking advantage of your body's natural cortisol spike. Cortisol gets a bad reputation, but in the morning, it is actually your friend. It helps mobilize fat stores for energy. When you pair that natural cortisol peak with a high-protein meal like eggs, your body preferentially burns fat instead of muscle. A study from the University of Missouri found that participants who ate a 35-gram protein breakfast, which is roughly 3 eggs with a small side, showed significantly reduced brain signals associated with food cravings later in the day. MRI scans literally showed less activity in the areas of the brain that drive you to overeat. On the flip side, eating eggs late at night is problematic. Research published in the journal Obesity found that late-night eating increased fat storage by 22%, even when total calories were the same. Your insulin sensitivity drops as the day goes on, which means your body is worse at processing nutrients and more likely to store them as fat. So the same 3 eggs that would fuel fat burning at breakfast could contribute to fat storage at 10 p.m. The best strategy is to eat your eggs within 90 minutes of waking up. This window is when your metabolism is most responsive and your insulin sensitivity is at its peak. If you combine this with not eating for at least 2 to 3 hours before bed, you create a daily rhythm that optimizes your body for fat burning around the clock. Think about it like this. Your body has a schedule, and when you eat in sync with that schedule, everything works better. Eating eggs in the morning is like putting fuel in your car right before a long drive. Eating them at night is like filling up the tank and parking in the garage. The fuel just sits there. This next rule is going to change how you cook your eggs forever. Number 4. Stop cooking eggs in seed oils. This is the silent killer of your egg's fat-burning potential, and almost everyone is guilty of it. You grab that bottle of vegetable oil or canola oil from the shelf, pour it in the pan, and think nothing of it. But what you just did is turn your healthy egg into an inflammatory bomb. Seed oils like canola, soybean, sunflower, and corn oil are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now your body does need some omega-6, but the modern diet has pushed the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 completely out of balance. The ideal ratio is about 1:1. A 2021 study in the journal Biomolecules found that the average person's ratio is closer to 20:1. That massive imbalance triggers chronic low-grade inflammation throughout your entire body. And here is why that matters for belly fat. Research from Harvard Medical School published in 2019 found that chronic inflammation directly increases visceral fat storage. Your body treats inflammation as a stress signal, and when it is constantly stressed, it holds on to belly fat as a protective mechanism. So, when you cook your eggs in seed oils, you are adding inflammation to a meal that should be anti-inflammatory. You are literally canceling out the benefits. A study published in Prostaglandins, Leukotides, and Essential Fatty Acids found that participants who replaced seed oils with healthier fats showed a 16% reduction in inflammatory markers over just 8 weeks. That alone can make a measurable difference in belly fat. So, what should you cook your eggs in instead? The best options are extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, grass-fed butter, or ghee. These fats are either high in omega-3s, contain anti-inflammatory compounds, or have a stable molecular structure that does not break down into harmful compounds when heated. Ghee in particular is excellent because it has a high smoke point of around 485 degrees Fahrenheit, meaning it stays stable even at higher cooking temperatures. Grass-fed butter contains butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that research in the journal Diabetes has shown can improve insulin sensitivity and reduce fat accumulation. Start reading labels and checking what oils are used in restaurants. When you cook at home, make the switch to one of these healthy fats, and you will immediately stop sabotaging your eggs. It is one of the easiest changes you can make, and the impact on your belly fat over weeks and months is significant. Now, the next rule might surprise you because it is about what you eat with your eggs. Number 3. Always pair eggs with fiber. Eggs by themselves are powerful, but when you pair them with the right foods, you unlock a completely different level of fat burning. And the magic pairing that science keeps pointing to is fiber. Most people eat their eggs with toast made from white bread or hash browns or processed breakfast meats. Those pairings spike your blood sugar and trigger insulin, which is the hormone that tells your body to store fat. But when you pair your eggs with high-fiber foods, something remarkable happens. A study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine found that simply increasing fiber intake to 30 grams per day resulted in significant weight loss, almost as much as following a complex multi-rule diet plan. The reason is simple. Fiber slows down digestion, which means the protein and nutrients from your eggs are absorbed more gradually. This keeps your blood sugar stable and your insulin levels low. When insulin stays low, your body stays in fat-burning mode instead of fat storage mode. Research from the Journal of the American College of Nutrition found that participants who combined high-protein meals with fiber-rich foods experienced 33% greater satiety compared to those who ate protein alone. Greater satiety means you eat less throughout the day without even trying. So what does this look like practically? Instead of white toast, have your eggs with a side of sauteed spinach, which packs about 4 grams of fiber per cup. Add half an avocado and you get another 7 grams of fiber plus healthy monounsaturated fats that further support fat burning. Sliced tomatoes, bell peppers, and a small portion of black beans are also excellent choices. A study from the Journal of Nutrition found that people who ate beans regularly had 23% lower risk of increased waist size compared to non-bean eaters. The combination works because the egg provides the protein and choline your body needs to process fat, while the fiber acts like a traffic controller, making sure everything moves through your system at the right speed. Without fiber, the nutrients from eggs hit your bloodstream too fast, causing spikes and crashes. With fiber, you get a slow, steady release that keeps your metabolism humming along and your belly fat shrinking. It is not just about what you eat. It is about what you eat together. Make fiber your egg's best friend and your body will thank you. Here is where things start getting really interesting with rule number 2. Number 2. Do not eat more than 3 eggs at once. This might seem counterintuitive because if eggs are so good for burning belly fat, why not eat 6 or 8 at a time? But the science shows there is a very specific limit to how much your body can actually use from one sitting, and going beyond it does not help. It actually hurts your progress. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Dietetic Association found that the human body can only absorb and utilize about 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal for muscle synthesis. One large egg contains about 6 grams of protein, which means 3 eggs give you roughly 18 grams. Add a small portion of another protein source or some cheese and you hit that sweet spot perfectly. When you eat more protein than your body can process at once, the excess does not just magically turn into more muscle or more fat burning. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that protein consumed beyond the absorption threshold is either oxidized for energy, which you do not need if you are already eating enough calories, or converted through gluconeogenesis into glucose, which can then be stored as fat. So those extra eggs are literally working against you. There is also the satiety issue to consider. Research published in the journal Appetite found that there is a diminishing return on fullness after a certain protein threshold. 3 eggs keep you satisfied for about 4 to 5 hours. 6 eggs do not keep you full for 8 to 10 hours. Your body does not work that way. You get maybe an extra 30 minutes of satiety, but double the caloric load, which adds up to significant extra calories over time. A 2019 study from Brigham Young University also found that spreading protein intake across multiple meals throughout the day resulted in 25% more muscle protein synthesis compared to loading all protein into 1 or 2 large meals. This means you are better off eating 3 eggs in the morning and another 2 to 3 eggs later in the day than cramming 6 eggs into one massive breakfast. This is the strategy that maximizes fat burning and muscle preservation simultaneously. Think of your body like a construction site. The workers can only lay so many bricks per hour. If you dump an entire truckload of bricks at once, most of them just sit there unused. But if you deliver a manageable load every few hours, every single brick gets placed exactly where it needs to go. Keep your egg portions to 3 per sitting and spread your intake throughout the day for the best results. And now for the number 1 most important rule of all. Number 1. Eat eggs with cold exposure in mind. This is the rule that researchers are calling a game changer, and it is the one that most people have never even heard of. It combines the fat-burning power of eggs with your body's own brown fat activation system, and the results from recent studies are nothing short of incredible. First, let me explain what brown fat is. Unlike regular white fat that stores energy, brown fat actually burns energy to produce heat. Everyone has some brown fat, mostly around the neck and upper back area. A 2022 study published in Nature Medicine found that people with more active brown fat had 24% less visceral belly fat compared to those with inactive brown fat. Now here is where eggs come in. Eggs are one of the richest sources of an amino acid called leucine. Research from the journal Cell Reports found that leucine is directly involved in activating a protein called UCP1, which is the exact protein that switches on brown fat thermogenesis, the process where your body burns calories as heat instead of storing them. A single large egg contains about 540 milligrams of leucine, and 3 eggs give you a powerful dose of roughly 1,620 milligrams. But leucine alone is not enough. You need to pair it with mild cold exposure to fully activate the system. A groundbreaking 2021 study from Maastricht University found that participants who combined a leucine-rich diet with just 2 hours of mild cold exposure, around 66 degrees Fahrenheit, burned up to 3 times more belly fat than those who only dieted without cold exposure. The cold does not have to be extreme. Simply turning your thermostat down a few degrees, eating your morning eggs near an open window during cooler months, or taking a cool shower after breakfast is enough. The combination creates a metabolic environment where your body is simultaneously receiving the building blocks for fat burning from the eggs and receiving the activation signal from the mild cold. Research from the Joslin Diabetes Center found that this dual approach increased resting metabolic rate by up to 15% for several hours after the meal. That means you are burning significantly more calories just sitting at your desk or going about your day. The practical approach is straightforward. Eat your 3 eggs in the morning within that 90-minute window we discussed. Then expose yourself to mild, cool temperatures for 15 to 30 minutes afterward. You do not need an ice bath. You do not need to freeze. Just enough cool air to make your body work slightly harder to maintain its core temperature. This rule combines nutrition and environmental strategy in a way that multiplies results far beyond what either could do alone. It is backed by real science and real numbers. So, there you have it. 6 egg rules that can completely transform how your body burns belly fat. Eat the whole egg with the yolk. Eat them in the morning. Ditch the seed oils. Pair them with fiber. Keep your portions to 3 per sitting, and combine them with mild cold exposure to unlock your body's brown fat potential. These are not random tips. Every single one of these rules is backed by published scientific research. Start applying them today, even just 1 or 2 at a time, and you will start noticing changes within weeks. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.